Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Strompcast, episode 245. We got a lot to talk about. We took a break last week, international break, which we will touch on briefly in this show. Nothing too noteworthy, but we got more important stuff, mostly for Nosso Gran Sporting. I'm going to throw it to my two co-hosts. No Sam today, but we do have my fellow Canuck, Danny Saldana. Danny, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Glad to be back on for another pod, boys. Big back-to-back victories coming back from an international break, which is good to see after Portugal. Well, I actually want to gauge your guys' opinion on what Portugal is later on. But yeah, overall pretty good. Another dominating performance. We're in the top 8. We're just behind a few teams because of goal difference.
Stop the count.
Stop the count. Stop the count.
Let me just say, Dutch teams, I know we didn't win, but at least we didn't lose.
We're Dutch.
And Lille, they couldn't even reach the goal against us, if you remember. And now they're out here getting results. Two results in a row.
Like
the city of Madrid
I was like,
is going to be Lille.
Lille from now on.
So I guess Lille's not bad. We're just that good.
Call them Jessica because Lille keep fucking rolling, boys.
Yeah.
After they game against us. And I'm also joined by my neighbor to the south, Chris. Chris, how you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah, lots of activities, games, news, action-packed episode. I guess that's what happens when you take a week off. But yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
And one thing's for sure is we're rolling.
Yeah, for sure. You can follow us down below. Check out Chris's check out AT Alvalade on X. You can also follow me there and follow Sam, even though he's not here. He's actually just not feeling too well today. He was last minute decision, game time decision. So without further ado, we will get into the Champions League game. We have a nice, comfortable, kind of cozy 2-0 win as Danny pulls up goal point. It's gospel in these parts. Lineup was as follows. Sporting starting with Franco Israel in net, making his return after being out for the Taça game. Center backs of Gonçalo Inácio, Zeno de Bast, and Ricardo Esgaio from literally out of nowhere. We'll get into
back-to-back starts.
Crazy. Who would have thought? 2024.
I thought I wouldn't see him. I honestly thought I wouldn't see him this season.
Crazy.
Now I've seen him back-to-back games.
In 2024 and back-to-back games, no less. Who could have guessed? Nuno Sanch and Jenny, the fullbacks. Midfield duo of Bragança and Hulman. Front trio of Maxi Araujo, Victor Gyökeres, and Trincão. Goals scored by Sporting by Nuno Sanch and Gyökeres. Chris, I'll start with you. What did you make of this game? What stood out to you? First goal was kind of a funny goal when we look back on it in hindsight.
Did Nuno Sanch get the goal, or was it deemed a
He got the goal? Nuno Sanch got credited the goal, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Because it was still going, kind of on net.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We're not
for real. I don't know.
We don't have the overhead EA Sports to confirm.
Yeah, I joked that it was a nice finish by the keeper, which it was, to be fair.
It kind of was, yeah.
Yes, side foot, slots it, bottom corner.
Perfect.
But in all fairness, kind of felt like a pressure goal more than anything. And I think it was literally on the same play, maybe 10 seconds before that. Pretty uncharacteristic, Gyökeres swing and miss right in front of the net.
And he gets a piece of it still too, actually.
Whiffs on it completely. Yeah. Kind of uncharacteristic of him. Ball bounces around a little bit and it ends up in that. But I'll be honest, we were all over him. Yeah. We were all over them. The only thing that was kind of scary for a half second, 30 times, was, obviously, until you have the second goal, it's not, secure per se, right? And even with the second goal, right, it's not always secure. But in certain games, it feels more secure than others.
Even if you get a third goal, it's not secure, brother.
Once we got the second one here, though, I was I really don't think that these lads are going to score two.
No.
They had some dangerous flashes, I would say, right?
Israel was forced to make
Israel was forced into action twice. I wouldn't say that he really like. I mean, he had probably one nice save. He had to stretch a little bit, but honestly, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. That's 3 wins against these guys in Europe in the last year.
Over the last 2 years.
These guys are probably sick of us. Taking 9 points from them. Shame we can't play them again.
Yeah, can we play you every week?
Maybe they'll qualify. Who knows?
True.
They'll qualify. We'll get them
0 points.
We'll play them in a round of 16 again.
You never know. Not mathematically out yet. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I expected us to win, right? It's like these Champions League games are difficult on the road, kind of half on the road for them, right? Because they're playing in a lone home because their stadium didn't have conditions, which sucks for them. Which is also why I don't think it was completely full either. So yeah, that's unfortunate for them because I actually saw their fans had like a sick display at the weekend, so they lost all their home atmosphere. Tough, but
it goes a long way when you can get like all your fans behind.
Yeah, I imagine if we were in a fucking hostile cauldron, it would have been maybe a little bit different. But it worked out for us.
Yeah.
I think we were totally deserved winners. It's probably important. We probably have our 2 toughest games coming up in the next 2 for this competition. So 7 points from our first 3, top 8. Hardest games coming up, both at home though.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much more we could ask for, I'll be honest.
No, it was
according to
very
plan.
comfortable. It was we wanted to I mean, the goal was kind of reached. Like we said we wanted to get 7 to 9 points out of those first 3 games would be kind of crucial. Knowing that those middle 2 were going to be like the middle 2 coming up, it's Man City and Arsenal are going to be very difficult. So we got what we wanted basically out of it. We're where we want to be. Danny, I'll pass it off to you. What did you make of this game? Because I don't have too much to add to it from what Chris says, but I'm curious if there's any standouts from you, if you had any differing opinions.
Yeah, I thought. I mean, obviously, a dominating performance there. So dominating. Although he played, you forget each guy who was on the pitch, sort of thing.
Mustn't forget each guy who was playing.
I thought we played really well. Obviously, I thought. I don't know what to make of the Bast. I do like him, and I think moving the ball forward, he's really good for us, as we've seen on like Joketta's assist. The guy with the step overs too. I haven't seen a defender do step overs since like, I don't know, bro. In my back in my old days, like playing rep or something. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we dominated the performance there. I thought Joketta is like Chris was saying, it was like uncharacteristic of him this game. There was a few fuck ups. He could have had at least 3 or 4. So unlucky to just
average
get the 1.
Below average Joketta's game still gets a goal and an assist.
And even on his 1 goal, his route to goal is so weird, and he still manages to stay in front of the defender.
Well, I'm thinking of the Nuno Santos goal, where everyone's like, oh, he left on. He still gets a piece of it. His timing's just like a half a second off. Like, that's the funny part about it.
Yeah. I mean, but a great goal from him too. I mean,
phenomenal goal.
It kind of reminds me, obviously not the same, but it kind of reminds me of that Ozil goal, like a few years back.
The Ozil goal,
where he like faked out everybody and then tapped it in.
Yeah,
I thought he messed up on it early on. It's in that run when
the way he cut across. I'm like, oh, it's over.
Yeah, but no, great performance. I thought Jenny played really well as well. I thought Nuno Santos played well. I mean, didn't deserve the goal, but got it nonetheless. I really liked what Nuno Santos said after the game. A lot of pressure on him in terms of whether he starts or not, but he's played over 200 games for us, sort of thing. Sort of telling the journalists where to go. We love that. Human played well. There was a moment where Human was complaining to Gyökeres to pass him the ball so he can get a shot on net, which was hilarious in my eyes. A bit of a quiet game from Trincão, from at least what we're used to him, at least.
Not a
but
bad game either.
not a bad game at all,
I thought Jenny was fantastic on the opening goal. I will
yeah,
say.
me too. Yeah.
And I thought Arujo looked good as well. I thought he had a good
I thought
game.
he did too. I'm surprised with how we're playing him and Nunu Sanch. I thought the roles would be reversed. I thought he'd be a bit more deeper and Nunu Sanch would be the one bombing a bit more forward. But maybe it's just adapting to the position, I guess. Like of a left
The opposition,
back
I guess the
rather than-
opposition as well, maybe too. I think
Yeah.
they kind of maybe assumed they could be a bit more on the front foot
Yeah.
for this game, whereas maybe in their next games they might play it a bit more safe with the lineup than what we got yesterday, I should say.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And but yeah, other than that, I'm with you guys too. Israel is well and clearly our number one right now, and there's going to be a lot for him to. Again, he hasn't really faced a lot of chances, but when he was called upon,
It's been good.
Was it the first or the second half where there was like a shot from outside the box from Graz? I think it was the second half.
I think so.
Big save on that there, but it was like a half volley sort of thing.
Yeah.
But really, other than that, I don't remember him being there and really needing to be called upon. But just having that one highlight is good enough for me because Adan, who knows what?
Oh, if this was Adan, we'd be playing a conference league, buddy. We'd be playing.
Hey, I wouldn't mind, bro. Conference league is the best league.
Oh, conference
and the only other
fun.
positive I can think of is St. Juice played and didn't get hurt. So shout out to St. Juice.
We were playing. It's my favorite thing when St. Juice plays because Sam just puts
only about 15 minutes, but he avoided.
Sam just puts in the group chat. All right, lads, St. Juice injury bingo. What do you got? Every time without fail. I'm not gonna add much this game. I was very happy. It's a 2-0 win. Big Jokeres goal. That one got everybody on Twitter and Reddit and all the social medias just riled up, saying, "Oh my God, Sporting ripped off Coventry. How did they only pay 25 million for this guy? This dude is a machine." My only, I guess, standout was Ishgayo playing, which was crazy, but not doing anything to fuck up. I guess played it as safe as center back might be his position because it doesn't require him to have to make a forward pass. Really, it's all lateral passes anyways. And just a kind of a quiet but against the game, but he's been pretty good the last couple, pretty much the whole season so far. So let you off, not a big deal. Matthias Reich came in, was fine. We got to see Pot make his return. Didn't really have to do much. Game was already kind of done at that point, but nice to see him get out there, get a little warmed up as they'll be playing Finley Cal this weekend. Nothing crazy. It's 7 points from 3 games. We're happy. 2 to 4 points more out of the next 4 games and the last couple games, and probably be in, boys. I mean, if we can nick a result off one of the big boys, I mean, we're looking pretty tasty for knockout round football. And
we'll get the 3 points against Arsenal, I think.
I think we get a point off Arsenal. I don't know about City.
That's not bad, honestly.
I'll take a point off.
I'll take a point off Arsenal.
1 point from those 2 games. I mean, it's truthfully not that bad.
Yeah.
And then Bologna.
I think if we get fucked on by City, it could be bad for morale.
Yeah, I think if the City game is close, that will be a big telling thing. I think they will still get points from Bologna. Leipzig's looked bad, and we got to play them still. Yeah. I didn't see where Club Brugge is today. We'll check the standings after. Actually, right.
I was watching the Leipzig Liverpool game. It's not that they look bad. It's just that they get to net, they get in front of the net and instead of shooting, they try to pass it off.
It's almost like a Portuguese thing where they try to look for the pretty goal instead of just get the goal.
Yeah, they're lacking confidence at the minute, which is isn't good because we'll play them later on, and I'm worried about them having to be a bit more desperate to try to make it through.
Yeah.
But I mean, given off current form, hopefully if
we're going off current form, right now we like our chances. Man of the match before we show the Champions League standings. Danny, I'll start with you this time.
Man of the match. I always try to avoid him, but I'm not going to avoid him this time.
All right.
Thick, baby.
All right. Chris, who's your man of the match for this one? Oh, he's frozen. He's frozen in time.
Oh, I thought he was just locked in.
I thought he was just looking real intense here. I'll go my man of the match. I'm gonna give it to Nuno Sanch, just for the fact that he got a goal, and we always love our man Slim Shady. Dan, if you want, Chris is back all of a sudden. Here we go. Chris, man of the match.
I'll give it to Israel.
Oh, there we go. We got 3 different men of the match. Look at us go. All right. I'm going to share the updated Champions League table momentarily. One moment, please, team. There we go. Make sure we can pull that up. All right. Awesome. So right now, tops of the table with 3 points, 3 wins from 3 are Aston Villa, followed closely by Liverpool. Man City sitting at 7 points.
Bad news for anti-Prem heads.
Bad news for anti-Prem guys
crying,
like
bro.
me. And then
that's a tough top 3.
Yeah, and then just like everyone's predicted in their top 8, Monaco, Brest,
and titties,
Leverkusen, Inter, and then we're here. Stop the count. Sporting with 7, Arsenal at 7 though, and then Barca, Dortmund, Real Madrid, who had a crazy comeback game against Dortmund. That would have been a fun game even for the neutrals. Really good. Benfica losing their game today, but they're still at 6 points. They had a good start. Juve, Lille with 2 points, bouncing back, or 2 wins, bouncing back. Feyenoord, Atlanta, Stuttgart, PSG, Celtic, Sparta Prague, Dinamo, Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich's lost 2 games.
They lost today to Bayern to Barca.
4-1
hat trick from
crazy.
El Capitan Rafinha.
That's crazy. And then Girona surrounding out what would be the top 24, the teams that would continue on the comp. As we look to teams who we're going to be playing later on, where the heck is Leipzig sitting here? No points from 3 games. Crazy. Sturm, we've already beaten. That game is done. Bologna did get a point. So they are at 1 point right now, and Bruges is sitting at 3 points right now with a win and 2 losses. But the big boys are obviously here. Man City and Arsenal are our next 2 games. Is it Arsenal, Man City, or Man City, Arsenal we play?
Arsenal, Man City.
Arsenal, Man City. So we play Arsenal next, and then Man City. But both games are at home.
No, I lied. Man City, then Arsenal.
Piece of garbage. Just kidding. All right, so Man City, then Arsenal. Both at home, though. So a little bit of an edge. It would be nice to maybe have a little bit of home field advantage. But that is the Champions League as it stands right now. Let's stop our share. We move on, ladies and gentlemen, to the Taça de Portugal against the powerhouse Portimonense. No goal point. Goal point does every competition except the Taça, which is crazy.
You really hate to see it.
It breaks my heart, it keeps me up at night.
So
the starting line, we can see, we're good. So starting lineup was as follows: Kovacevic making his return to goal in this game. First start for him in a little while. Center backs of Gonçalo Inácio, Zino de Bast, and Bruno Ramos. Fullbacks of Isgaio and Nuno Sanch. On loan too, which blew my mind. Isgaio and Nuno Sanch, the fullbacks. Hulman Bragança midfield. And then Kenda Trincão with Conrad Harder as the center forward. Joker is getting a bit of a rest. Harder with 2 goals. They won this game at the last minute. I didn't get to watch this game. From your guys' commentary in the group chat, it's probably better that I didn't watch this game because this was dreadful. Danny, I'll start with you first for this game, and then I'll go to Chris. What stood out to you? What did you make of this game? Our first round of the Taça.
Yeah, dreadful only in the sense of what we've been used to, but we're coming back from international break, so it's going to be a tricky match. Portimonense, if I'm not mistaken, doing pretty well in the 2nd division currently.
No, it's going bad.
It's going bad.
Hovering just above the drop zone, surprisingly.
That's crazy. Usually the Primera teams don't do that bad, like in their first. They usually,
and actually Penafiel, who's just been the most mid-table ass 2nd division team for a decade or longer.
They've been there forever.
Has suddenly is this the year?
Is this the year
that
they make the jump back?
They're making maneuvers.
Carry on though, Danny. For any seconds to go to Liga interjections.
I'm not gonna lie. I totally made that shit up because I'm like, Portimonense, they were good last year. Surely they're doing well.
Okay, they must be doing all right. Well, because
usually the teams
that drop down are like mid-table at most. And a lot of
Yeah.
times they're still
Sometimes they
pretty
struggle
close,
though,
at least
yeah,
like
fair.
fighting for that last like
Asphodata
playoff
covering
spot.
pretty averagely mid-table as well,
Yeah.
so not
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
great for them either.
Crazy.
But yeah, I mean, it was just a boring game more than a tough game. I thought Harder has like better finishing than I would have imagined, in my opinion. Like his first goal, he
Okay.
easily slots it into the bottom corner. His second goal, I mean, I'm jumping ahead of myself here, but his second goal was just unreal. The great pass from Gyökeres, don't get me wrong, but
it's a phenomenal pass.
in my opinion, it was his run, it was his touch, and it was his finishing ability. And I don't want to misspeak because right now he's in the form of his life, and if it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. He's just scored another absolute banger in Mexico. But
Paulinho.
Harder has the finishing that I think we were like begging of Paulinho in a sense, because Paulinho sometimes will shoot and he'll whiff his chances, sort of thing.
Every time
And
it's
so far, Harder still has a long way to go, of course.
Or he would
far,
just
so good for
sometimes
him.
just not be looking to not even take the chance.
Yeah.
Or like the
Looking-
confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, the confidence behind even Paulinho too. Like it wasn't as this kid's 19. Okay, fair enough. He's 19, so he's probably just, naive in this sense. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna score whatever. And
He's like, I'm just gonna do it.
for better or for worse, right? But
Yeah.
so far he's doing it, which is great. And like I said, cool finish right towards the end, just for us to score, because they scored on a corner not that long before. I think it was like the 80-something minute.
Mhm.
It was all the goals were close together.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
well, the first one was in the first half, but yeah, then it was like back to back pretty much.
Yeah,
it was
like
boom, they
87,
scored.
93, something like
Yeah,
that.
it was like boom,
yeah.
they scored, and then they almost scored, and then we came down, and then it was just pandemonium.
I literally said, like, if this is ass, even though they suck and can't do anything, all it takes is like one second.
Yeah, that's exactly. You put that at the beginning of the game. This is like I was driving my girlfriend.
We're so ass.
They
They're so
this is gonna be a
ass.
shit
No
game.
one's doing anything. We have the
Yeah.
goal, but it's just not enough. And then they get one set piece.
That's
And
it.
just
And you called the two in the group that you
Just
said this has their makings of
unreal. And then I really thought we were gonna go to overtime. I was like, more minutes.
Sam was
in
pissed.
the
He's
legs.
like, I don't want to
This
watch
is
30 more
so-
minutes of this shit.
This is so stupid. Yes, and also you're going to force us to watch 30 more minutes of this. That is a crime in and of itself.
Sam was pissed in the group.
We
He's like,
need
I don't
this
want
shit
another
to
half hour of
end.
this crap.
And yeah, then we got Harder turned it on.
He was like, he heard Sam Fonseca's plea and was like, I got you, Sam. Because first thing I see in the group chat is Chris like, this has the makings of we'll dominate, but it's gonna be like one brain fart that cost us, which is almost did. And then Sam putting like, I don't want to watch 30 more minutes of this shite. Like, this is brutal. Like, this is crap. Just end the game now. And then sure enough, like a minute or two later, Beamba, Conrad Harder goal. He goes, he listened, let's go. This was like, I didn't get to really watch the game. I got to watch like the highlights and the match reports. It just seemed like a dull game.
Another thing to say, like,
go for it.
I'm surprised. Like even Chris just mentioned, like the Bruno Ramos kids, he's on loan. I mean, is Fresneda? I mean, I know he came on like in the 80th.
Is Fresneda that low in the pecking order though? Like to not get the start? Like that's crazy.
I don't understand. Like, what are we trying to reinvent here? Like, is it because he's not like a super attacking fullback that we have?
He must be.
Center
He
back,
must be.
He's not adapting well, or I'm
yeah,
just shocked.
as guy who was like
even
not even an
Dibu or
option
whatever his name
anymore,
is.
but he is apparently.
Yeah. He must be. Fresneda must be just duty in practice. He must be like that. I don't understand. This was a game where I think everybody was like, "Oh yeah, this will be a Fresneda game." Like surely
I think it's required for Sporting to be contractually tied for a long period of time to an outside back that they've spent 10 million on that doesn't play, right? Ruben Vinag finally found a home. We're probably going to get him off the books. We're going to take a massive loss on it, but we're going to get him off the books finally.
Yeah.
Now we've got this new Albatross.
and before that, it was Valentine Rozier or whatever.
Yeah,
too,
it's like
who we spent like
true.
8.5, 9 million
we've
on.
gotta
and then he never
have
played.
you've gotta have at least one. So yeah, that's good to see that we've got
It-
a
Even
If it means
Fresneda,
if it means we
you're
win like
next
this, then
guy
fair
up.
enough.
Yeah, even Fresneda, you're the next one in line. Come on down to the Price is Right. Like that's what this
Yeah.
is. Oh
Yeah,
god.
I just don't
I got nothing to add to this game. I don't know if Chris, you got anything else you want to mention? Anything that stood out?
Yeah, I mean, it's always just like I don't know. It's like you don't want to see like players that like are intentionally being rested like have to come in, right? It's just like
yeah.
so yeah, I mean, it's just not an ideal scenario. The whole thing was ass. Classic like no chemistry game.
Yeah, a rotated squad, people playing out of position a bit, like
yeah, I'm just happy that we advanced. In theory, our next opponent is probably weaker or about the same.
Amarant. What division is Amarant?
They just won the 4th division last year, so they're in the
they're
third.
in Liga
They're in the
3.
third, yeah. So it's like, I mean, hopefully we advance, and then I think we play the winner of Fama Santa Clara. So we'll get a Primera Liga team. We'll get a Primera Liga team in the next round. So yeah,
we're gonna get a mid-table Primera Liga boy.
Hopefully we just take care of business again against another weaker team, I suppose, by any means necessary.
At home as well, should be worth noting. The next 2 games will be Sporting at home should they win and advance. So all right.
Yeah.
Man of the match for me is Conrad Harder because he had 2 goals, and I can't be arsed to go and look. We don't have goal point ratings on this, so Conrad Harder.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Conrad as well. One other thing that I just wanted to mention as well, I forgot to mention a typical Trincão game, whereas he almost scored a banger,
but that
of course it went wide.
Yeah.
So
he almost every game other game or so he almost scores something really. He almost does something really cool.
It's like Palinha. He almost scored a rocket launcher, but he never.
Palinha scores all his bangers after he leaves Sporting. Typical freaking Sportingista. He's all his banging goals for after he leaves.
Shout out to Palinha for
shout out to
$500 in money.
The latest bad boy.
The latest bad boy.
Bad boy era he's in, bro.
He's in his Toronto man.
Yo, according to the tabloids, he's got a new girl already.
Holy boy!
One thing my brother mentioned, and this is the chatty patty part of the Strompcast, of course. The one thing my brother mentioned.
This is the CMTV.
What if the kid isn't his, and that's why he's acting brazen?
I've heard through my also grapevine that he's the one that cheated in the first place. So that would, I mean, I don't know. That could maybe they both cheated. I don't know. That's
maybe
that part of the story. Like, I feel like a lot of leaks are coming from her side, right? So that's never gonna get leaked because, like, why would they be leaking against themselves, right?
Yeah.
All the leaks are against him, right?
Yeah.
So maybe if João wants to, get in the mud and start leaking some information, if he's obviously, especially if it's true, right? Yeah. I mean, come on, are you just gonna let Patricia run the show here? Let's hear it, João.
You're out here.
Give us a call, João. We have some pull.
Yeah, they're making you look like a total dickhead right now. So
this is the
if it's not true, bro. Now's your time to speak.
This is the Correo de Meñas segment of Strompcast, ladies and gents.
But yeah, I have been pretty eagerly and interestingly followed the story. It's just kind of funny because if he really is like the bad boy, he just doesn't seem it, right? So I guess
he seems like he doesn't have like a bad boy face. He's never seemed like a bad boy on the pitch.
But I mean, at the end of the day, he's a millionaire footballer.
Yeah.
So,
I expect this from like Nuno Santos. I don't expect this from
or you expect this from fucking like a Phil Foden type shit, bro.
Yeah. Foden's got that. He's got that stupid ass.
You just wouldn't expect it to be Palinha at least. But now CMTV is loving it, bro.
Oh,
I got
they
push
got content for
notifications
days.
on, dude.
They've been getting
Anything develops, I get it right to my phone, bro.
Sam Tibet is on at my house. I can confirm, like 24/7. They are never lacking for content this season. They have been given some great.
I love when they flex
stuff.
like their numbers, and it's like, oh, we did this many viewers better than RTP this month. It's like just the self suck.
It's crazy.
I've never seen a TV channel do that before. Just
that shit is on.
Flex their view count. I've seen like YouTubers do it. I've never seen like a TV channel.
Mr. Nevis Senior in this house has that shit on all the time, and it's hilarious. Watch. I'm like, I just walk by. Where are they talking about? What are these losers talking about now? Oh, that's pretty funny. Actually, I want to watch some of this shit. Like, it's great. Best $4 we ever spent a month. Phenomenal stuff. Off from the toss-up, we will move on. If we want to league predictions, we got some. Chris, you're making some.
I had another good week. You
gained a couple points the last couple weeks. So I don't remember if we got to talk about Casapia, but you gained a point on me from Casapia, which was great. We move on to the Tasa. You gained a point on me, or no? I gained a point from the Tasa back on you.
See, I went 1-0 because I knew it was just gonna be a shit house, but just missed it 2-1.
I got the points because I got Conrad harder. Danny got 2 points as well. Actually, you were really close to the score, Danny. You were the closest one along with Sam, but you had harder as a goal scorer. But we move on to Champions League prediction. Chris getting the exact score, 2-0, which gained him a point this week. Nice. I had 3-1. I had a goal scorer.
Left points out there. Didn't say Jokeres.
Didn't say Jokeres, which I was a little surprised of. You left an extra point out there. Jokeres times 2, so you got a goal. You got a goal and the result. Sam was really close. He got a goal and the result, but Chris getting the exact result, so he gets the bonus points for that. Table right now is as follows: Sam at the bottom, 14, fighting his own relegation battle. Himself, and Sam.
Danny's hanging around.
Danny's hanging around you though.
10 points from first though.
Danny's got a 5-point cushion from the drop. 19 points. Only a couple points ahead of him though is Chris Oliveira, 22, and he's gained a couple points now. Only a 7-point difference from your boy at the top, sitting at 29. But he did cut that down 3 or 4 points the last couple of weeks. So he's making some maneuvers, this Chris guy. I'm not panicking yet, but if he cuts that down to 5, you cut that down to 5, I'm gonna start getting a little nervous. 7 points, I'm still feeling myself.
Yeah, you got a little cushion, yeah.
Yeah, if you cut that down to like 5 points, I'm like, suddenly it's like a 2-game swing. This could cause some problemas. But that is the league predictions. I never even showed us the predictions for the next game. Let me share my screen again as I bozo that I am here. For our next game against Famalicão this weekend, I've already predicted the scoreline 3-0. I'm picking Jokeres, but against Jenny. Chris and Danny, I'll start with you, Chris, as you're the one in second.
Throwback to when we couldn't even ever beat them.
We used to see this game. We used to see this game and be like, "Oh, we're gonna get like a 1-1 draw."
Good time.
We used to hate this game.
I also think we're going to win.
All right.
Playing at home, if I'm not mistaken. No, actually,
just about to check that.
No, double check that, Danny. I thought this was an away one. I'm not.
It is actually. Yeah,
it is away from home.
Yeah, it's away. Right.
We did stomp them away from home, I think, last
year. 2-1 win.
2-1. All right.
Jokeres and Arujo. It's coming. It's coming.
All right. Mr. Saldana.
I need the point, so I want to go big, but
go for it.
I just smell a 1-0.
You pulled that last year. You pulled we were gonna kill like Braga like 6-0 or something. We ended up winning like 5-0. You had like 4 scores or something crazy. You pulled it like one crazy one last year, and I was like, "Yo, what is this guy?"
It hasn't paid a dividend so far.
It hasn't though. Yeah,
it will at some point.
I'm always close. I'm the bride, never the bridesmaid.
I really don't see.
The
like
bridesmaid
6-0 here, but you never know.
Yeah, Famalicão's a tricky one to predict.
They've been drawing the last 3, minus the Portugal game, a lot of draws.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with my gut. I'm gonna go a 1-0 win.
All right.
Can't go wrong with that.
And who's your scorer? Oh, I don't have my
I know you're
screen
not
on.
lucky.
I didn't have. I
know
was
you're not
switched the
lucky.
tab. I wasn't looking, so I'm like, bro, you gonna talk to me? You frozen up? Okay. All right.
That one's
will
just for the visual watchers. For you audio
right.
listeners, you got to get on the YouTube to see
You
what
gotta get on
who I
YouTube and
said
watch
goal
the
scorer
visuals
was
so you
gonna
can
be.
see everything in action. All right. That is the end of the league predictions now officially. Danny, did you want to do a quick fantasy recap?
Yeah,
we can go to Stromp Kits. All right, fantasy
I'm
recap coming from Saldania.
still in first. Let me do our mini league here.
All right,
I'm in 10th in the mini league.
You're in 10. You've dropped a bit.
Yeah, I haven't updated my
I've
squad at
dropped
all.
a ton. I'm in 19th.
You gotta worry about the drop zone there, dude.
I'm gonna have to worry about the drop zone pretty soon.
What's your kid is? What's your name again, Chris?
I'm Ghost of Adan. I'm like mid-table.
You're sitting around
there you are. You're right ahead of 3 points ahead of Richard there.
Yeah.
Unless that was a different Hakuna.
No, I'm the fake Hakuna Maritas ahead of me, and that's really pissed me off. It really pissed me off. I know which one I am. I've been the one stuck in the bottom. That's not. This
19th.
is me.
So Chris just passed you a big 10-point.
Big week from Chris this week. Yeah.
See your team here.
I made some transfers, so I was hoping to rekindle.
I got some good points from Ricardo Value. Mura and Ishgayu actually gave me a lot of points. Didn't have Pot.
I had to double check what Ishgayu you had in your team for a second.
I was like, what? We got Tassa games counting for this shit?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Braganta gave me a bunch of points. What lost me a lot of points was Pot still be my lineup, and like I didn't get any help from my bench or the Casapia boys.
I just took in. We didn't even need to check it this week because there was no Liga games.
No, we didn't do it. We didn't. I don't think we did a fantasy.
Yeah, but
recap
we didn't do it a week before.
Mito Zinchi in first place, and Diomandes in a rough, followed by laundry list of names.
Including the longest name.
It's close.
My balls just passed me. Let me see this guy's
crazy. Let's check out this bro's team. I mean, obviously he's got Yeoman. He also got affected by no pot. But he had Yokeras giving him hella points. So
yeah, let me see my team real quick, and then we'll move on to the Stromp.
Yeah, you got the GOAT.
Machado.
Bro, why haven't I switched them yet, bro?
I don't know.
Nelson Oliveira out of there too, bro.
I love that you
4 points, baby.
4 points from Nelson Oliveira. You got more than Machado.
Machado for real. Chico Lumba's still here for some reason.
Yeah.
Joseph Font, I don't even know if he plays anymore, bro. I thought, bro.
Yeah, I gotta get Font out of my team at some point.
Buried in the bench.
So that's where we're at right now. A little fantasy update. We move on to
have bear
kind of the
new. So bear with me.
You have the kit up. So we have a new kit, ladies and gentlemen. Another one. Sneak preview of what we can expect. We've got 5 official match kits.
Is that really what the sponsor looked like?
No, it had a white stroke on the outside of it. I think
that's what I'm like looking at it. I'm like, why does this like look different somehow?
Yeah, it had a white stroke, which actually made it look better.
Yeah, just like a picture from the game would work, honestly.
Here we go. Perfect. You got our guys.
Yeah, it does look better like that. Yeah.
So this is the new Stromp Kit, which I don't know. I thought we already had a Stromp Kit this season, guys. The Stromp Tribute Kit was the whole kit. What the fuck is this?
The Stromp Tribute Kit that somehow like has nothing to do with Stromp.
Had they made this the Stromp Tribute Kit, I think people would have found that A, more palatable, and B, a better representation.
Yeah, if that was the first kit this season, I don't.
This
really
home kit, bang.
I actually
would anyone
like
have been mad or cared? No, I don't think anyone would have said anything.
This one got a lot
and you'd be able to sell. Oh, it's a remix on Stromp. To be because let's be real, this is a remix on Stromp. This isn't a.
And you know what? Like I'll say it. There was people that hated this kit that this isn't a Stromp kit. I actually don't mind this one. I actually like this quite a bit. My only gripe is we can't buy it with the Botano sponsor on the front, which I don't understand why we can't buy it with a sponsor on Loja Beard.
It's very weird.
It's weird. Does anybody?
It's one of those things that doesn't have explanation. Much like for like years. Remember, you can buy the Champions League patch, and it's like
you couldn't buy any of the badges.
There's no good reason for this. It's just one of those things that is and has no explanation.
Yeah.
Why, for example,
I actually think it looks good with the.
Why, for example, do all of the junior kits not
not
have
have
a
a
sponsor.
sponsor. I think because it's a betting sponsor, so that I can kind of get that.
Yeah, that makes a bit. Yeah.
That
Okay.
might make sense.
Okay.
Not that like it makes sense, but it's like
And
at the same
also,
time
so would be
they
a
don't watch
beer.
soccer. Like
A beer is also so like that makes sense
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
That's actually the first.
reasonable thing you heard.
I've heard
For the
also
kids'
they don't
kits,
have the
yes.
like they don't make them like because like
That's
you can't
small
just
enough.
you can't
Yeah,
just stick
fair.
that same exact one on and it'll look
No,
ridiculous.
you've got to scale it
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
So like it's
That's
just like
fair.
and like Betano just inexplicably like only makes one size or whatever, and I was like that's classic as well. Just like they don't have them because like no reason, I just idiocy.
Yeah, this kit, if I could buy
But
it
yeah,
with the
maybe
Betano
there's like
sponsor,
a
I'd
law
buy
in
it.
Portugal against stuff like that.
Yeah,
Possibly.
if I could buy this kit with the Betano sponsor, because you can buy it with the Escudo, you can buy it with all the different patches.
And it's true. It's just always been true about the Stromp Kit as well.
I did see one on eBay that had
Even in the
old,
Macron era on Loja Verde.
I did see one on eBay that did have the old NOS sponsor from Macron, but that was it. Like I've never seen one like out in the wild, and I've never understood why. Because like for me, I want the sponsor. I want the full kit. I
don't know why.
I don't know why. I actually do like that kit. That one got a lot of flack on social media.
Does
but
it
I thought
have
actually looked
Superbach
good.
on the back as well? No.
I think so. I think
Oh,
on
it
Loja
does.
Beard it does. So
Yeah,
that's
okay,
what.
that makes even less sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the only thing I changed about this kit is I would like to actually have the sponsor on the front to purchase, and I would like to go with the logo we have on the
You
Taça
can
das
still put
Taças.
the escudo or the I guess in
Get the
theory
L badge.
the gold patch.
Yeah, you can put all the patches on it. You just don't
probably
have the
want to put the
sponsor.
escudo. That makes more sense.
Yeah, it makes it
That's
nicer.
what I would do.
I don't mind it without the sponsor per se right now.
It looks
no,
good.
okay,
But it needs an
it
escudo.
doesn't have Superbach on the back.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It doesn't.
It's just
That's
a
weird.
completely white back.
That's weird. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'd like to change is I'd like to be able to have an option at least to get it with Betano on the front. And also I would like to see a version of this with the logo we have on the all white kit, the Tosses kit. Because I do like this one. I think it's cool. I'd love to.
I mean, if for people who remember the anniversary kit that
Yeah.
had the mini logos underneath,
I have that
the
upstairs and they've all peeled off. But
yes,
yeah.
I think several of mine have peeled off as well. This is one of them.
Yeah,
Those mini logos on there. I think, if I recall correctly, yeah. It's kind of cool that it's a logo that's never been used before. I'm kind of shocked that they used it on this kit. I'm truthfully not shocked about the design itself, this diagonal, because
there was a leak a year
or two ago because I think they've had this one in the chamber. They obviously put it on this most recent template with the little hash things here, but it existed with previous Nike template. So I think they had the option to release this before and didn't. So at least it's cool that they added a custom never before used, at least not in a long time.
It's a custom logo.
Yeah. So that makes it cool. Yeah, I mean, how many kits will we hit this season? What was the goal next season? 9?
9. We're at 5 right now.
We're at 5. I mean, are we gonna do it this year too?
So this was go back.
Yeah. So this is what it is now.
That's the one that leaked. Yeah,
so
the one now looks a lot.
And if you look, that's like if you look, it's like the old template with the how that little like
weird
U
kind of
thing.
neckline.
Yeah, like that was the old Nike template. Like this is a real image. Like this could have been released as a sporting kit. And they, I guess, just decided against it, feared the backlash, whatever it was. But then they're like, "Fuck it."
I like this one. It's a 7.5. I almost want to say 8.
It didn't look bad on with the sponsor, with the escudo.
No, with the sponsor escudo, I think I bump it up to when you have all the the proper details. I bump it up to a 9.
Yeah.
By the way, hilarious sponsor on the Taça de Portugal this year. Taça de Portugal, General Tranquilidade.
Or whatever.
Come on, man. I don't even know what that brand is, but that is just an absurd.
So this is our 5 kits. I rank the home one. I rank it a 7, and
the pink one doesn't even deserve to be fucking.
The pink one should be there. That's an NPC kit.
I mean,
if
it's
ever saw one.
fine, right? It's fine, but it is a total NPC kit.
Yeah. I
didn't mind it in person though.
I didn't mind it in person either.
But
And I actually saw the ladies volleyball team was wearing a black kit with the pink logo, and I was like,
really?
fire.
Okay.
interesting.
That's
like
kit
that-
number 6 for this.
Yeah, that
season.
might be low key number 6.
I like the home kit, but it shouldn't be the home kit. It would have been a perfect alternate.
What was the last time we even wore that? I feel like it's been like 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6.5. Home kit gets a 6.
I straight up like it literally has been probably at
the
least a
first
month or more.
When you have
month,
5
yeah.
kits, bro, like if you don't like the home jersey, you're good because you'll never see it.
You can buy another one.
We wore the white today. We wore the green
Yeah.
before. We wore the
green
pink.
tomorrow.
We wore the Stromp.
We'll be
Like,
good.
White one gets like a solid 8.5 out of me. I love that white
That
one.
might be a
I have one
9
upstairs.
or
Yeah, that one might be my favorite.
Could
one
even
so
be a
far.
9. Actually, I might even bump that up to a 9 because it has the old logo, my favorite version
Yeah.
of our logo.
Yeah.
I do like the highlighter one. I think that one's like an 8, 8.5.
yeah, the highlighter one's not bad for being in theory to Soulless template,
Yeah.
but I actually don't mind it.
Yeah, Stromp one I give like an 8, and then the pink one
Yeah.
I give like a 4. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's where I stand on these. Not
How
like
many more?
not like an objectively
5 in
bad kid,
October. I mean, we're on pace.
They said 9 next season. We're at 5 this season
Maybe not
already.
this
which is
season,
crazy.
lads.
Crazy. But yeah, at least it looks like we're starting to get some customization from Nike. We've seen
little
little
bit
flashes
more.
of it, but little more.
Tinges is custom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll see. I think too because they know a lot of their I know some of their bigger teams are moving to Adidas, which has been in the news. So maybe that's part of what they want to do. Is
RIP Liverpool.
They want to
Mhm.
Brazil as well. Actually, is supposed to be switching to Adidas.
That's fucked.
Which is crazy to me. I
They
just
lost
always
Portugal
associate.
as well.
They lost Portugal, so maybe this is
All the
kind of their
Puma
way
shit
of.
leaked soulless. That's how the
Yeah, I
Puma
don't like
shit is
Puma
all
stuff.
soulless. The Portugal
Yeah.
Puma leaks are all soulless.
Yeah, we can go over those today too. But yeah,
I hope they're
maybe
wrong, but they're probably not.
they're never wrong. Booty headlines almost never wrong.
Yeah, that shit's not wrong, but
They
I hope
hit
it
like
is,
they're
though.
like they're hitting like they're batting like 90%. But yeah, it looks like we're slowly getting some like customization. I think with Nike losing some of their bigger teams, some of the teams like us might get a little bit more like kind of hand holding and like coddling. And go, oh, we're gonna do some cool stuff for you guys. So this is obviously a bit of a sign of that they're gonna do some more stuff. Hopefully next year, they'll do something really cool. I would like to see, but not the worst year of kits. We've had way worse sporting kits in our past. It's just I don't like that home kit is our home kit, and I'll die on that hill. But moving on, we got a lot of news and notes to get through. Danny, we'll start with Hugo Viana. I think is probably the most newsworthy thing in the sporting universe. So 2 weeks ago, we were dead wrong on this show. We came on and we were like, I doubt he goes, or he won't go for maybe another year or two. We were fucking wrong. Literally 2 days later, it comes out Hugo Viana does in fact agree with City. He'll have an agreement with them. He'll join at the end of this season. Fabrizio Romano was actually on some shit this time. Danny, I'll start with you. What do you make of the departure? The replacement that has been already kind of announced that they're kind of grandfathering in at the end of the season, all that fun stuff.
Our replacement? No,
yeah, they say to be one of the deputy. They already had like a guy who was working on the team. I forget the name. It escapes me.
Okay.
But yeah,
I don't think he's currently in the admin. But I
think he's worked for Sporting at some point.
He's worked for the Verandas admin in like the V1 of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then I don't know too much of the replacement. At least
I'll yield to you. Just what do you make?
And then he went to Rio Ave for a year, and then he was done, and
then they got relegated,
and now he's back. Yeah.
So
his 1 year at Rio Ave was ass.
Yeah.
But
interesting. I mean, if I'm being entirely honest, I mean, surprised in terms of Hugo Viana going, because as brilliant as he's done since Ruben Amorim, prior to Ruben Amorim, this was not the case, and he's been with Verandas this whole time, which we'll go into the interview in a bit as well. also surprised because City have such heavy Barcelona links that they're even looking our way. I understand we have some sort of agreement with them, but for them to look at,
do we really though? Because I mean, we'll touch on that in the interview as well. Like, I think we just have good relations with them. I
It's
don't
a
think we have any
baby
agreement with
agreement.
them.
it's it's good relation. Yeah, if
Yeah,
anything,
it's just let's just stay on each other's good side, kind of.
But
thing.
I mean, we clearly have more of a relationship with Manchester City and the City Group than we would with any other team in England, for example, or any other team abroad, even. So yeah, I mean, there's that there. Still a little shocked that they would look Hugo Viana's way. I'm only curious if this is because of how well he did in terms of bringing up the club from turmoil. Maybe they're expecting some of these charges to hit. I'm not too sure there, right? Because
some of them are. I can guarantee you, some of them are going to hit. You don't get 150.
They're afraid that they won't
so.
be able to get anybody unless they lock them in now.
True.
Yeah, that could be the case.
I think something's. I will say, I think something will. You don't get 115.
Maybe they'll get a points deduction next season, something. Right?
I'm thinking more so.
Do stem from.
I don't think they're going to be playing League 2 next season.
God, no.
Fucking awesome.
Half the charges stem from the fact that they were like, "Hey, we're accusing you of this," but like, if you just show us your books and like show us your stuff, like, we could just verify whether we're full of shit or not. And they were just like, "No, we don't want to." So like, half the charges are just, we don't want to cooperate. Well, why not? If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't have a problem with showing us your books. And they're like, "But no." And so they're like, "All right, well, then we're moving forward with these charges then, and we're gonna tack on. 50 of them are just, you didn't want to turn over your fucking books."
Yeah.
So they're gonna hit on at least half of them. Like,
my thing though is like, I'm not too. Maybe you think some of them will hit. I'm not too confident any of them will hit. Don't forget, like, it wasn't that long ago where there was some sort of UEFA punishment, and then they said they weren't guilty, but they still had to pay like a fine. And I remember it being a big deal because it's like, if you're not guilty, what are you paying a fine for?
The UEFA found them guilty. Man City appealed to the Court of Arbitration, and the reason the Court of Arbitration overturned it was because UEFA's statute of limitations had ended. So they said, yeah, you technically would have jurisdiction on these charges, but like, you should have charged them like 2 years ago, before the statutes like of limitations ran out, kind of like a criminal case. Yeah. So that's what the Premier League doesn't have that limitation. So they can go back to the 90s and find something and say, you're guilty of that, like, we're charging you with this. So they got off like on like a technicality, essentially, is what everybody kind of believes. Okay. I agree with Chris. I think they're gonna get hit with something. I don't think they're gonna get hit with all 115. I think that's naive to think that. But I think they're gonna get dinged at the very least on that. You guys refuse to fucking cooperate, which is already shady. I think there is going to be a couple.
That'll probably just be a fine, though.
That will probably just be a fine.
And then it'll be just like, okay, so just like
business as usual.
I think
that's why the government has to pay like a small fine.
Find a couple. I think from there you'll probably find a couple instances of them cooking the books, but nothing. I think they'll have covered their tracks enough still where they might get like fine and point deduction. I'd be very surprised if they get sent down a division or anything. I think fine and point deduction.
Awesome. Unless
crazy. Yeah, unless they really.
I mean, there's talk like Benfica, right? Reigniting talk of relegating them for 2015-16.
I'll see it.
Bro, that's not gonna fucking happen.
When I see it.
Again, it'd be awesome, but like, I'm not gonna hold my breath or expect.
I think the only difference is England has enough big teams where you could survive them going down for a year, kind of like Italy with Juventus back in 2006. Like, you have enough.
I mean,
big
they
teams.
can survive for a year, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bankrolled by a petrol state. I mean, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think, and that's where all that stems to.
Obviously, they're not gonna have as much like loyalty as the Juve did when
we're about to find out. We're about to find if I'm just saying, if they get sent down or banished to the shadow realm or whatever it is, we're about to find out the real men from the plastics real quick.
But this is my point though too. This is why I'm shocked.
Hilarious though if they got like a 12-point deduction and then still just won the league anyway.
They just walk the league anyways, which they would.
Like, okay, August is over and they've
at worst they finish like in fourth, which is still Champions League, like knowing them.
Yeah. So fine and like small points deduction is probably like best case scenario in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, like that's the point though, because they have such a big bankroll. I'm shocked that they go in for Hugo Viana, because don't you go after somebody that's like truly proven it at the top stage? Like,
I mean,
I understand you're
maybe
doing very well.
maybe
for
it's
There's no
just
guarantee.
viewed like
There's
Pep's
no
gonna
guarantee
leave,
Pep
right?
stays either. So maybe they figure we get Viana, we can get
But
Amorim
here's
in a
my
year too.
Liverpool had the perfect opportunity to sign Ruben Amorim, and they
Yeah.
think that there's a better manager out there.
Mhm.
And now City are looking at Ruben and now Viana oh, these guys are the guys that are gonna take over after Pep.
Well, maybe that's why. Maybe that's
Again, it's
why
still
though they
not
see them as a
proven.
bit of a tandem,
Sorry,
right? They obviously they must see them as like a bit of a tandem.
for sure. But
And
what
the
I'm
thought
saying
is, and
is,
the thought
I
is
don't
maybe
think
Pep doesn't stay.
so.
but what I'm saying
but...
is like they're still not. We're doing it at Sporting. We're doing it at a much smaller stage. Like City before
Mhm.
Pep Guardiola, they were going still after the Mancinis. They were
They
still
were still
going
after like good coaches, yeah.
great coaches, and that
Yeah.
have proven it elsewhere. I'm just shocked that you're going after the guys from Sporting. That
It's kind of in vogue to appoint a manager like that, though, like Slot or like Graham Potter.
Almost like
I don't know,
almost like
some
the
other
hip,
examples.
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
kind of
Where
like the
oh, this
hipsters
guy's
pick.
like the next like great like mind or whatever.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
almost
teams are
the
sometimes
hipster
looking
pick,
for
right?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm
maybe that's
just
where
kind
they're
of
going.
shocked that that's the case. I still don't see. I don't think it'll be Amorim going to City. I think Pep will stay, even with the
think he'll still
charges.
At
stay?
least for another
everything
year.
he said, everything he
Yeah.
said so far, he's gonna stay there, right? But
Well, that or he's a bald fraud, which who could have guessed?
which he is.
Yeah.
I also think
Yeah.
Amorim could have taken the Aston Villa job about a year ago.
And he
Mhm.
just chose not
and was
to.
like turned his nose at it. And now fast forwarding a year, I mean, they're pretty
Maybe he
fucking
could've.
good.
They're a good
Maybe he
team.
should've.
I mean, credit does go to Unai Emery as well.
Yeah.
I always thought he was a good coach. I thought he got a
he's
bit of
great.
a raw deal. I thought he
But
got a
that's
raw
what I'm
deal at Arsenal for
If
sure.
I'm thinking like the next City manager, I'm even thinking of a Unai Emery, where
Yeah.
he's proven it at a bigger stage and he's won Europa Leagues and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's
yeah. I thought he just
Ruben
got a
Amorim-
crap deal at Arsenal. I just think they had zero patience at the time. And it's like, you guys want a project manager, but you don't want to give him time to do anything with the project. And now you see what he's doing with Aston Villa. It's like this Arsenal is doing well, obviously very well now. They're very competitive, but that also could have been them now. Like they could have been at what Aston Villa is now, which is killing it in Champions League. Real fun, exciting football being played. Like that could have easily been them after a year or two of Unai Emery. They just didn't want to give him the time.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm curious to see on how this happens next season, and I just hope City fans also know that this man is the same man that signed Jesse Rodriguez and Bolasie and Fresneda now,
But he's
and
learned.
Ruben
Fernando.
Vinagre. It's
Who
not
can
like
forget-
He
Who
made
can
those
for-
mistakes here so that he doesn't have to make them in England. That's
Mhm.
what they'll tell
Fair
you.
enough. Fair
Who
enough.
can forget the
Well, there'll be a
legendary
bigger team. There'll be a bigger team to do.
Who can forget the legendary Fernando signing from Shakhtar? Never played a single minute of football for the A team.
Who can forget the legendary Vladan Kovacevic signing from 2 months
Who
ago?
can forget those 3 months of Islam Slimani?
Yeah, true.
You know what?
Specifically the month of March, if I recall correctly,
Who
where he
can
was
who
Burger
will
King
ever
Player of the Month.
who will ever forget 6 months of Hector Bellerin where we didn't know
True,
if he was,
where he played
where we
like
didn't know
once.
if he was where we didn't know if he was
about that.
signed
But
permanent or if it was a loan or what.
Photo
it was.
shoots 3 games
I saw a
played
picture of his
2.
photo shoot the other day, and I got so nostalgic for him, man. I was like,
Yeah.
"Damn, that's crazy."
Yeah,
Hector Bellerin, man. Chris, what do you make of the sign? As Danny just dropped out, we'll wait for Danny to come back here. But like, what else do you make of this move? Specifically, how do you think it'll affect the team? You know a bit more about the planned replacement. Do you want to speak on that, or?
I mean, I just know that he's a former like Sporting Sad guy from like I think he worked for maybe like 2020 to 2023 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was his tenure. When he worked at Sporting, I don't think he was necessarily even on the player side, like the player like
it didn't seem like it from what I was able to see.
But also like he is more like Viana is not like exactly like he's more of like a negotiations guy anyway. So like this guy's like a lawyer, right? So he like that is more his specialty anyways. So he's more of like that type of a guy more so than like like a scout per se, right? Which is like
Mhm.
in theory its own department, but obviously the two are heavily connected, right?
There's gonna be a lot of crossover
Yeah.
between the two at the end of the day.
So yeah, I guess he knows the club, he knows the admin, etc. I mean, I mentioned he didn't necessarily have that great of a year. The 1 year that he left Sporting, went to Rio Ave, obviously they got
Rio Ave, right?
relegated, right? Whatever. So obviously we'll see how it goes. It's kind of weird. Things like this are weird in the sense that it's like everyone knows that he's leaving. It's like so not like how does his does he have a change in attitude over the next like couple months?
I never thought of that. That's a good point.
It's just it puts him in almost like a weird position, right? Like I don't think about
it's like
think about when you're like a senior in high school, like about to go to college the last couple of months when you already know where you're going to school. I'm already
just kind of like I just gotta get
accepted.
through this and kind of
Yeah, you're just like I'm just fucking around for a couple months here, and then I'm going to do the cooler thing.
do other stuff, right?
So it's like it seems like his shit's already done, right? I don't even know.
Or like when you're leaving a job, right? And you're just like I've given my whatever week's notice. Like
yeah,
2
you
weeks,
just
let's
kind of
say.
start mailing it.
You're just kind of like, all right, I just gotta sort of.
Which in the sense it is good that
people
he
for
is
what they got to do and take over, maybe train the new person or whoever. But then you're just kind of slowly getting rid of duties until that happens, right?
It is good that he is like a sporting guy, right? So maybe he'll, he'd be willing to help us out more so than like a random dude would, right?
Yeah,
or just like someone who's just hired, right? With like no allegiance.
God, like Jack dude brother who wouldn't give a shit, right? Like
so yeah, I mean that's kind of weird. We'll see how that plays out. Maybe we'll see some recklessness, some increased brashness. Maybe he's gonna go out with a bang. Obviously,
that's a little chaotic.
That bald guy from Porto is gone. That little bald guy on the bench. But maybe he'll find some new nemesises in the new Porto side or the new. I mean,
I even forgot about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Manchester Derby's gonna take a new turn, bro.
He's gonna fight whoever the hell fucking Klopp's assistant is, or not Klopp. Fucking what's the other bald fraud. Ten Hag's.
Oh, Ten Hag.
There's too many bald guys in football.
Yeah,
man. This is bald ass sport. What's going on?
Ruud van Nistelrooy against Hugo Viana.
Hugo Viana, who wins?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Like, is the new guy gonna? I imagine like there's gonna be a shot of like the Tribuna at one of these games, and you're gonna see him.
You'll see them like sitting there.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I do like that. At least he's like the guy will be working with them kind of throughout the rest of the season to kind of prepare.
I think he's be leaking
so they're not just
tactical info to them before we play them. Yeah. At the end of November.
Yeah,
that's what the quote is. The quote was Ruben Amorim saying that he doesn't want Hugo Viana in the changing room. He was joking though.
Everyone thought he was being serious.
Yeah, he was joking.
He's like, not gonna have him there till for a little while. But yeah, nice that they at least have the new guy like kind of shadowing him. I guess would be the best way. I'm just thinking of my corporate speak in my job. So like the end of the season, so they're not like just throwing him to the wild. So at least get to like know the position, know kind of maybe some tricks of the trade, start to build a bit of a relationship with like the rest of like his team around him, which is good. Instead of just saying come June, all right, here you go, figure shit out. So, because that's kind of what some jobs would do, is they would just say figure it out. So, do we want to move on now to the Varandas interview? I have nothing to add to this. You guys covered that really well, so thank you. Varandas did do an interview this week with RTP. There's a couple kind of tidbits, nothing too crazy. It was kind of a typical Federico Varandas interview. Do not hit play on that.
He kind of has to do one of these like every 6 months or so.
We get one like once. Yeah, we get like once a year.
I actually remember we talked maybe like 2-3 pods ago. We're like, haven't heard from him in a while.
That's literally, I think that was the last show. I'm like,
he pops up. He pops up. He's got to pop up, remind you every now and again.
Just say,
alive.
I'm still out here.
You spoke him into existence, bro.
It's like Beetlejuice. You say the name so many times, boom, shit, here he is, man. He's ready to fucking wreak havoc. Nothing too.
Also, do you feel like he gets like? I don't know. I mean, I'm not someone.
Oh, he's 1,000. Give him a minute. Hang on. Maybe not. There wasn't anything too crazy out of this interview. I will say, like, nothing really that jumped out to me. As Danny's pulling it back up. What stuck out to you from? That's all good. What stuck out to you? I'll start with you, Chris. Any like real? There wasn't really any big quotes for me. Anything that stood out to you from this interview, though, specifically?
Not really. The only thing that really stood out to me was that, like, it's not like he even went that hard against Benfica. It is just like that he was willing to, I guess, say it. Like, I mean, he like obviously Porto is the main target for him for years now.
For a long time, yeah.
And it's kind of just seems like there's at least like a non-aggression pact that's been signed with like the post Vieira admin at Benfica.
He'd be like, hey, let's not start some shit.
I don't know if it's because of like things in the news and circumstance and expediency. I'm not sure why. Like it might like that stuff could still be to the case, and he's just like, he's just throwing us a bone every now and again type shit. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's the only thing that I really took note of. Yeah, I mean, also just another kind of random observation. I'm not even exactly sure how, like the process of like going bald, getting your hair back, getting a hair transplant, having thinning hair, getting it back, like. But saying? He is bald, and then he's thinning, and then he's kind of full again, and then he's bald, and it is a recurring cycle. He's back to being kind of full again. I don't exactly know like what this process looks like because like I don't have that issue yet, at least thankfully.
Speak for yourself.
I maybe need to talk to some of my friends who do have this issue and do like take like a medicine or use a shampoo or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does, but like
he's doing something.
It ebbs and flows. I'll say that much. And right now we're in a good window, but like the ebbs and flows.
That's why this interview.
We're gonna enter a bad era.
That's why this interview dropped when it did, because my bro was having a good hair day.
I'm
a good hair day.
Bro was
fullness right now. It is only going to be downhill for the next 3 months, so I got to take advantage.
He's like, winter's coming. That sunshine's gonna go away. I'm feeling myself. We gotta drop this shit today.
And then also, like, there's this thing that some dudes do, which is obviously not what he's doing, where they literally like will paint on a hair.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah,
I love those videos.
LeBron James is like an offender of this because it's like he will
don't
have a hair
just let it go.
and a hairline, and then he just will not like a week later. And it's like
I refuse to be like whenever I start to noticeably go bald or thin or recede or whatever, I refuse to be a paint bro. I'm just gonna when you get to that point, just
and to be fair, Fernandez is not a paint bro. He's not a paint
Let me also tell you, it's not that expensive to go to Turkey, bro.
And we know his salary, $400K. He's making
I'm
very
starting
good
to get.
money.
You can see I'm starting to get there, boys.
Rich, it's just $5,000, brother. You get a nice little trip out to Turkey.
I'm not too bad.
Just wait. Yeah, there's no point in going now. You might as well let it play out.
I'm just kind of starting a little bit right around.
Let me just tell you,
honestly, ask him what he does, and then tell us.
Fred, I'll call Fred. Like, yo, first of all, come on the show. Second of all, what's your hair regimen? Explain some stuff to me.
Facts. Verandas, if you ever want a real interview,
go.
This is the spot.
This is the place, dog.
I think he wants that.
You don't say.
We're
talking about his fucking hairline.
Vegas.
I'm actually not even necessarily talking shit. I'm just more talking out of curiosity.
Yeah.
If anything, you're complimenting the guy.
And I'm complimenting him right now.
He looks
good right now.
He looks phenomenal in that picture. He looks great in that picture, to be fair. Like, he's got great hair, nice tan, good physique. Like he's that's a man.
He knew he had to act. He's like, it's interview time.
He's interview time. That's a man right there. Look at him. Nothing stood out to me from this interview. He did have the fun quote about Pinto Costa, where they're like, "Don't compare me to Pinto Costa."
Sometimes I'm like, I like think about. I'm like, oh, he's dead, but I'm like, no, he's not dead. He's like
He's still alive.
because they were talking about like his guest list at his funeral, like in the news. Like
work.
I thought he was. I saw that on Reddit. Like,
sometimes I think he's dead. But he's.
I saw that. I was scrolling through like the Liga Portugal Reddit, and it was like Pinto Costa once. I'm like, is he dead or dying? Like, what?
Why are we talking about his funeral guest?
It just kind of came so like out of nowhere. I was like, what the shit? But yeah, that was the only other noteworthy comment, which was he was like, don't compare me to Pinto Costa. Like, I consider that an insult. He hasn't said much about Villas-Boas. He was actually kind of complimentary of him at times.
Yeah, he said it's been positive so far.
It's positive that we don't have like kind of the toxic people we've historically had in Portuguese football. We're Sporting. We've been guilty of having some lunatics even before Bruno Carvalho.
His admin is young.
Yeah, like I think you're starting to see kind of the younger
and slightly
generation take over. Yeah, you're seeing kind of the younger generation take over the clubs in Portugal, which is hopefully a good thing. It seems like it so far. There's not a lot of bullshit in the media, which is actually kind of that's where Sam TV and like Abola and all these guys are missing out on. Is there's no like presence being like, fuck that guy like every day. It's just kind of like, that guy exists. Like, we're not pals, but we're not going to fight each other on the street kind of thing. And it's just kind of boring for all the newspapers are missing that news. They're like, damn, it's a slow news day. What do we talk about? Nothing really stood out to me from this interview. They asked him about like how the team was doing. Just thoughts on that. They asked him if he thought Sporting could win the Champions League. He goes, no. Which I was very pleasantly surprised. He's like, no, like we need so many things to go our way for that to happen. Like, I'm not saying I don't want it to happen, but like, let's be a little realistic here. And I was like, you know what? Like, fair. If that was me, I would have probably given the same answer. But like,
I would have said
kudos to him. I'm like, yeah, dog. Oh, if that was Rui Costa or Pinto Costa, they would have said absolutely. But he was a realist. He goes, it's not impossible.
All Benfica president said that they want to win it. Was it Luis Felipe Vieira?
Yeah, all of them say it. But yeah, he was like, I'd love to win. He took the logical answer that everybody kind of agreed with, which was obviously I'd love to win it. That's kind of a dumb question, but you have to understand how many like the circumstances. We need so many things to go right for that to happen and be a realistic thing. Like, do I think we can win it? No. Would I like to win it? Yeah. Like, what do you think I'm gonna answer? Like,
nope.
He was like, no.
Interested.
Like, that was kind of a dumb question from the journalist, and he kind of smacked them down. Like, yeah, it's a dumb question. Yeah, I want to win, but no, we're not going to win probably. But we'll see. That was it. That was the only thing that stood out to me from the interview. Danny, did anything stick out from you? I don't know if you actually got a chance to really see. I didn't get to watch. I had to read the summaries. Okay.
I watched the whole interview. It was like 20 minutes. The only things I because we're being too positive on him. So I think we need to be negative as we always are. I'm kidding. But I don't want to get on the guy, but like he was sort of like trying to rewrite history there for a little bit. He had a quote where he was talking about how Rio Ave was basically asking like, are you guys sure that this $2 million? And then he stopped himself and laughed and he was like, yeah, back then it was $2 million. Are we sure we're gonna make this payment? And that was the reality of Sporting at the moment.
Like you paid,
but let
like
me just say, like,
Paulinho.
none of these stories came out from his past administration. I won't say two administrations before that. I'll say from his past administrations, we didn't have the reputation of not paying on time.
Mm-hmm.
Varandas, I think, is too quick to forget that his gem, the real reason why Sporting is not the real reason, but the main contributing factor of Sporting being where we are today is because of the coach that's been in there for 5 years. And even he had a mispayment on that as well, or a late payment, or we paid more than what the agreed upon price was. Not to mention, again, second reference to him, there's this Portuguese striker currently playing in Mexico. I forget his name. We also had late payments. We had late payment, Little Paul, exactly. We had late payments there too, but let's try to rewrite history. So that was the reality of the work of the things he was working with at the club. But
one other thing too that I just remembered, when they asked him about like the hiring process before they landed on Amorim, and he listed like the coaches.
Yeah, I was going to get into that too. Yeah,
they had I forgot the list of coaches you reached.
Abel, Setien,
Kik Setien,
It was
Somebody-
Unai Emery, Rui
Unai.
Jorge, and
Rui
Leonard
Jorge, yeah.
Jardim.
And who
Yeah,
else,
and
Danny?
Jardim.
Leonard
And
Jardim.
Jardim. So
And they all said no.
they all said no. And he, to be fair, he's like, to be fair, like, I understand why they said no. He's like, I don't, like, it was not, like, a very attractive position at the time.
Was that when he took Silas?
That
Or
was when
No,
he
this
took
is when he
Ruben.
hired.
That
Silas
was
had
when he
just
took-
left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
this
that's when
was
he
so
took
this was
Ruben Amorim.
this is post Silas ball, right before Amorim comes in. He's like, these are the coaches we reach out to. None of them obviously said yes. He goes, I can understand why. Let's be objective here, and like I would have, like it would have been suicide to take that job. the fact that Amorim was like, yeah, this looks fine. Like, what can go wrong? Spoke volumes. He did say, like, obviously, as he's said a million times, it was a gamble, and it worked.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, how much of a say? I mean, obviously, like it's like when a transfer happens, right? Like, it's
kinda
happening, right? You can try to stop it.
You can just
And
say I'm not signing the contract.
You can
and, yeah,
veto it, but like you might be fucking yourself more in the end
if you
anyways.
say no.
And what's awaiting you is probably an increased salary, a new contract. It's not like you're being like victimized or anything, you know.
No, like
Your
absolutely
parent
not.
club is getting a fee. Like in theory, we're all winners here, right? And that's I think kind of what happened with Amorim. To be fair, like we actually paid the release clause, and Braga's like, okay, well, you're going, and he
All
could
right,
have been
well,
like,
bye.
no. Like, I don't want to
I
upgrade my
refuse.
career and move to a bigger club.
And
Like,
make
no,
and
I
make
don't
more
want to
money.
make more money.
At
Like,
the time, he could have, because Braga was
he
Braga
could
was
have
ahead of
done
us.
that. That probably would have caused him more problems at Braga then. So it's like, okay, now Braga's mad at you. You've fucked up. You've rejected the sporting opportunity. It's like you may like. It's like what it wasn't worth it. Like probably not, right? So like I feel like he was kind of at least half shoved to Sporting.
It was kind of like okay, go. Like,
yeah, it's like you kind of have to, right? You don't have to, but you do. You're gonna really be fucking up the bag for a lot of people, including yourself, if you don't.
Yeah.
So you really should. And yeah, I mean that's one way to get around the problem that he addressed in the other part, where he's like, "Oh, all these guys rejected me, so I had to buy a coach for 10 million euros."
Euro for a record.
Unproven, by the way.
So it's like you still really didn't have one really accept you, right? You just bought one, which
And
to be
said,
fair
"Sure,"
worked
and it
out,
worked.
right?
And
But,
and to his credit as well, he because they then transitioned to talking about Vienna, and he did say, like, although those guys rejected us, Amorim was high on our list because Vienna knew him and Vienna believed in his.
Vienna was already
ability.
familiar
So
with him.
he was on the greatest
Fair
like
enough.
12-game run of a Portuguese manager of all time
we'd ever seen up to that point. Yeah, it was
Like-
unheard of.
Casa Pia to Braga to crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking psycho.
Meteoric rise, bro. He's gonna go Casa Pia to like
He,
the
like-
Prem in like 7 years or something.
He likes speed ran. He likes speed ran a
Yeah.
football manager save in like 3 months. He speed ran on FM save in like a few months. When you think about it, he went from Casa Pia, Braga, Sporting. That's like 7-8 years of FM. He did it in like a couple months. That's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, but Fernandez didn't talk too much about the emails, so I think you are right. There is definitely some sort of ceasefire going on.
I think
between
because
him
it's also like it's a
and,
criminal investigation. He might not be legally
for
allowed
sure.
to say.
But I'm saying
he
just
was
in
probably
general,
advised.
Let's
to not
just say
say
it's
much.
not a topic he has ever been that eager to talk about.
No.
But so I mean, it's a criminal investigation for sure, but he's not involved in it, so he could talk about it. It's not like he's.
I think he was just like advised, like, "Hey, don't say anything in case shit bounces back."
That's what I'm
on
saying.
us
I think
regardless.
there's
was
like
just
an
kind of,
agreement between Benfica and Sporting because there's like Chris was saying, Benfica's not attacking Sporting. We're also not attacking them as much.
Yeah.
We're still attacking Porto more than anything. This quote kind of shocked me. I know it might be an unpopular opinion among Sportingistas, but Varandas has a lot of work to do before he says calling me or a comparison to Pinta Costa. You have a lot of work to do if you want to be compared.
You got way too many things.
You got a lot of work to do.
Couple more decades.
Nobody compared him to Pinta Costa.
You gotta put in another.
This came from.
You gotta put in another like 35 years and about 24 trophies.
And although there's corruption allegations, I get it. to say like comparing me to Pinta Costa is an insult.
No one
I don't
was,
think
dude.
so, bro. It would be if we're comparing you to Pinta Costa, you must have done a lot of good work.
Yeah,
in
it
terms
means
of
you like
trophy-wise,
kind
yeah.
of formed an empire.
You created you
Yeah.
created an empire
And-
where you were the king.
Listen, and if it was all in corruption, which I don't think it wasn't, but definitely a lot of it had to
A
do with
good
corruption.
chunk of it was.
good
Corrupting your way to a Champions League win, impressive.
Crazy.
And Europa twice,
Crazy.
impressive.
2 Europa Leagues, like crazy. Almost
Listen,
3 trebles.
Give
by
me
the
the
way,
corruption,
too.
baby. I don't care. I want them.
Danny's like, I want
Like-
to win.
Yeah.
What was
So
the famous?
that's it,
What
I
was
mean.
the famous quote? If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah.
You're not cheating. You're not trying. I tell my girl that all the time.
Lie, cheat, and steal.
Mhm.
I have nothing else to add to this.
Yeah,
We kind
I'm
of
good
covered
here,
all
too.
we kind of covered all the sexy talking points. It was kind of a lot of just longer versions of what we were talking about. Do we want to move on to Modalidades and then Seleção talk?
Sure.
I don't think we have anything else newsworthy that unless I'm missing something. I think we've covered the big news, boys.
Yeah, that's it. That's
All
it
right.
on my end. Yeah.
Uh,
Just let and then yeah.
Yeah, we can jump into Seleção. I don't think we need to pull anything up, and then we'll jump into Modalidades to round it off. So the boys won. They won their first game, tied their second game in the Nations League. They are into the second the knockout round, the quarterfinals officially.
Because the new woke format has 2 teams make it through.
utter
Not
woke
just the group
nonsense.
winner.
Utter woke nonsense. But they did miss the chance.
This is what happens when Biden's in office.
I
guys.
prefer the unwoke Nations League of 2021.
Yeah.
I prefer the unwoke.
We won the real trophy.
You know what? I prefer the unwoke FIFA Confederations Cup.
True.
Bring back the Confederations Cup.
That's the most
then.
unwoke competition of it all.
That was like you had to be a streets.
That's a
street
no
for that.
nonsense comp, man.
That was pure.
Win your
merit.
confederation and then talk to me.
Yeah,
There's no
talk to me,
no at large bids.
Yeah, it's win or don't even fucking.
Or
show
and then
up.
okay, the loophole was be the host, but that was the only loophole.
That was the only loophole you had.
Yeah.
Win the world, be the literal world champions, or win your continent, and that's it. But yeah, so they did advance. I do think they were able to clinch had they won the game against Scotland. They didn't. They drew 0-0 they drew 1-1.
First game, Scotland didn't lose in the last 10 minutes in a long time.
Yeah. And what I was told was an absolute just crime
I actually
against
didn't get to see
football.
that
Didn't
game,
watch.
but I don't think I
Didn't
missed
watch.
anything.
Shout out Ryan Gauld though. I know he played.
Shout out to Ryan Gauld. My dad described it as a crime against football. That's how he described this game. It was soulless. It was boring. And Ronaldo threw a tantrum at the end and was the first one off the pitch at the final whistle, which just confirms everything I think about him. Just baby shit, full diaper appetite.
He wanted to
fucking
score.
Attitude. Wanted to score.
He's
too
hungry
bad.
for goals.
Oh, dude, too fucking bad. Do better. From what I gather, these games were kind of tragic. I think it's just kind of it's just kind of a good summation of Martinez.
They're turning results like they
Martinez
were
is not bad.
in the.
They're getting results like they were in
qualification for the Euro.
qualifying.
Yeah.
They
I
were
will
undefeated,
say
right?
I
in
will
Euro
say the caliber
qualification.
of teams they've played in the Nations League are better than what they played on average in qualifying.
Yeah.
Again though, like they're not that inspired. And I'm not going to just sit here and say, oh, it's Ronaldo's fault. I think it's just the whole team. I think it's the coach. I just don't think this team is very fun to watch. I think they're falling into the kind of traps they had with Fernand Sanch, which is they're just kind of playing it safe a lot of the time.
I feel like they're just like the Indiana Pacers.
They're just there. They're mid.
Yeah.
They feel
They're always
mid
going to
to
be in
me.
the playoffs. They're always going to be in like the top third, but they're never going to win. They're never
They
gonna
might
be, like,
they might get like
special.
and that's the thing. They'll get like a round or two deep,
Yeah.
maybe.
I hope they prove me wrong, bro. But they're the last like.
Again, this was
6 to 8
this was
years,
Belgium,
they're
right?
just
You
fucking-
knew they were always going to be there.
Yeah.
They were always going to play some okay football, nothing that would like be absolutely spectacular, but effective. And then they would get to teams that are at or above their level or around their level. And it was like, okay, like this is it. This is it. We're mid. We're gonna get like a round or two deep, and that's it. And that's what this team feels like is They're not good enough to be great, and they're not bad enough to be bad. They're just kind of there.
We'll see what
Which is,
happens
to me, is
in
the ultimate crime.
in the knockout round of this competition, I suppose.
Knockout round, yeah, we got a World Cup on the horizon, but yeah, it's just. I think the biggest fault of this team is when they control games, they have zero fucking sense of urgency. They play like they want to just pass the ball into the net a lot of times, and it's very frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
That's just kind of my thought process on the team. I'm happy to hear someone prove me wrong, but
yeah, I just think 2 quick points. I mean, I think the manager's clearly the wrong decision. We could have and should have maybe given it or waited for Mourinho at the time, or given it to Mourinho or Jorge Jesus. And second, I think it's too many old Sporting players because we have a million chances and never score, like half of them. And I think that's the biggest thing, because Poland we won 3-1, but there was a time when it was 2-1 that Poland looked like they were going to tie up the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Scotland, I mean, we should have had like a dozen goals in there and didn't go through. But yeah, other than that, I don't really care too much about Portugal all that much. All I care about is Jesse Marsh's Canada. And Chris, how are you feeling about Pochettino getting slapped his first game against Mexico of all teams?
Tough to see. I'm not too worried about it though. But
I wouldn't be too.
Yeah.
First loss to Mexico in a while.
Yeah.
A long time for you boys, yeah.
Fitting. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, they get the friendly, and then USA gets like every game they counts recently.
yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna have to do a little bit better than that. But maybe it's the turn. It feels like Mexico is sort of turning the corner to be like a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what Pochettino does, because it feels like there's definitely stuff to work with.
So much to work with.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to work with.
There. I think the States have the best talent easily in CONCACAF, even compared to the Mexican team.
For sure.
Because you can look at Canada and say we have like, I still say we have the second best striker, even, because I think Balogun is number one. So
I think Canada has a good mixture of like good to great players, and then a lot of guys were just kind of there in mid. But they have a coach who will get them to run. They have a coach who looks like he can get them to run through a wall. He looks like he's got more. He's got a bit more to work with than Herdman. He's a bit more adventurous than the previous coach, I will say, and he can still look like he can kind of get those guys to wake up. It's game time, or run through the wall. I do think USA and even to an extent Mexico still have like man to man the better teams. When you look at it on paper, Mexico just always been very poorly run. Outside of when they have to play CONCACAF teams. And then the USA has just kind of been, they don't know what they want to do until recently, it seems. So I think the US will do. I think the US, it's a smart appointment. They have a coach who's not necessarily going to take shit from people, which is what they need. I think for that team right now, they need someone who's going to kind of lay down the hammer and say, no, I'm the one in charge here, not you. Deal with the decision, because at the end of the day, it's going to be my ass on the line, not yours.
Yeah, I think the State's biggest problem is they have too much to work with.
Yeah.
When you have too much talent, it could go wrong.
Yeah, you get too many. It's the Portugal problem, right? You have a lot of superstars in that team, but
in the kitchen,
everybody wants to be the guy, and then you have a guy who is like, "I'm the guy, fuck all you," and it's just there's too much. There's too much there. There's no cohesion. They need a Viana back in that team just to be like, I don't care who's here, I'm just gonna run. Like, they don't have. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, like you said. I think you summed it up perfectly. Actually, there's just too much, and they need to just tone it back a bit. Yeah. Chris, quick modalities roundup before we finish up here.
Okay. 1 for 2 in Europe today.
Yeah.
Futsal 1 yesterday and today.
They played back to back.
Yeah, it's like
Crazy.
It's the first group stage of the
yes, that's right, of the Champions League. Right.
So they clinched.
I forgot they do that.
So there's group stage 1, group stage 2.
Yeah,
Final 4.
We've
clinched the spot in group stage 2 with a game to play on Friday. Perfect. Still.
Sweet.
So we're playing Kairat Almaty, which is definitely going to be the hardest game, but it doesn't matter.
Good team, yeah.
Hockey won their first league game. Handball lost for the Champions League today. but
That's their
won at
first
the
loss this season.
first loss of the season.
Yeah.
I believe they are now 4-1-1 in Europe and 8 or 9-0 for the league. They won again this weekend. Trying to think what else. Don't think the B team played. I don't think the ladies played either.
I don't remember if the ladies played.
Their last game
Yeah.
was a 1-0 win. I don't know if we covered it because we didn't have a show last week. That might have been it.
Yeah, I think that was it. That was kind of fair.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I don't think there's basketball. Lost season opener.
Lost,
Buzzer beater. Lost to Esgata this past weekend in a buzzer beater. Yeah. So they're 0-1 in the league, and then they got scraped today for FIBA Europe Cup in Poland. They lost by 30 to a team that we have played in FIBA Europe Cup before and has also beaten us. It's like they're called like Anvil. They've beaten us multiple times.
They've got our number, you could say.
So yeah, I guess like not the great. We were still in second in the group, so I think that's back-to-back losses in Europe Cup now. I think we are 2-3 now, or 1-3 now. So I don't think that we're in second anymore. I would guess. Yeah, not an amazing campaign for basketball. Who's coming off probably their worst season last year
since the
rekindling.
Reform. Yeah, that's fair. It happens. So we'll see. Long season, still early. We'll see. If nothing else, I think that brings us to our natural end here. We're going for an hour and a half. Holy, we had a lot to talk about though today. Like 80 things we needed to cover. So you can tune in. We'll be back probably next week to recap some footy as usual. You can follow us down below. You can follow all things Alvalade, AT Alvalade on X or Twitter, whatever the hell they want to call it these days. You can follow the boys as well. Follow Danny, follow Chris, follow Sam, and follow myself as well. Hopefully you guys stick around for next time. Like and subscribe if you like what you see or like what you heard, or if you didn't like what you heard, feel free to leave a comment in the compliment section, as I call it, and we may just ignore you. We'll see how we feel on that day.
Every comment matters.
Yeah, unless we just arbitrarily decide your comment doesn't matter. That's been it for Danny and Chris. I've been one of your faithful co-hosts, Richard. We'll see you guys soon. Peace and viva Sporting.